Hey everyone, the modern native here. So I wanted to go over something with y'all. Wrote it down so I could keep my thoughts straight. But I wanted to go over the essentials of camping or camping basics. Now, first off, this is going to be 200% personal to you, your style. Because, first off, what I have here is you have to choose your shelter style. Now, that's a personal preference, what you like, how comfortable you're going to be. You also have to remember where you're going to camp. What's your setting? How rough is the terrain? Are you going to have trees to hang a hammock on? Are you going to have enough space for a tent? How big of a tent can you bring? How far are you going to go? How heavy do you want it to be? You know, who do you camp with? How many people are going with you? So what kind of shelter do you need? Now, with shelter, whether that be a hammock or a tent, should always remember to bring extra tarps. I mentioned this in a video I just recorded. Tarps, tarps, tarps. Never have enough tarps. Right now I have 3. I could cover like 50 foot of space and I'm just hammock camping. I wanted the extra space in case something incredible happened and I needed extra coverage. So that like when it comes to choosing your shelter, that's what it comes down to. Where are you going? Who are you going with? What's the weather? What's your weight concerns? I like to stay with a hammock because I don't care what anybody says, you can reduce a massive amount of weight by having a hammock rather than a tent. My entire setup weighs less, like my entire hammock setup weighs less than just the tent itself, and that includes all of my sleeping gear and everything else. Water options and your requirements. How many people are going with you will also increase the amount of water that you're going to need. I keep it simple, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. With the Grail water bottle, it's a GeoPress water filter. Again, I will be doing a video featuring this, but as long as I have a water source nearby that is not horrendously terrible, I'm confident with that filtering it. It filters bottled water to a better taste, which is nuts. So you have to think about your water options. Are you going to be boiling water, filtering water? Are you going to be bringing water? And what are your requirements? How much are you going to need? They say it's like a gallon a day per person. I don't drink a lot of water. I should be drinking more, but that's just me. Your lighting choice and the backups. I use a rechargeable headlamp. I bring a battery pack with me so that way I can charge it back up, but I also have backups. I have a pen light, a normal little flashlight, and then my work light that I just showed in the previous video. So always have lighting options, whether you like a lantern, whether you like battery powered, whether you're going to be making caveman torches, I don't know. You just have to think about your lighting options and what you want, and again, that's a personal preference. Layers. Extra layers. We're in the middle of summer, it's hot, but I still wear a long sleeve. I wear a tank top underneath. I have a hoodie with me. So that way, no matter what, I'll be able to add or take away layers for comfort's sake. And bedding. Extra bedding. I have a wool blanket and a fleece throw. I could do with just one or the other, or honestly with how warm it's been with my underquilt that I have with me, I won't even need anything. The underquilt mostly right now is to protect against bugs biting me through the bottom of the hammock. Now your first aid. First aid is a concern for most people. Me, not so much. I brought this along today just for demonstration purposes to show in previous video and to just bring it along for the essentials of camping. Now when it comes to first aid, remember, multiple people multiplies stupidity. Now, I'm not saying people are stupid, but people are stupid. You have a higher chance of accidents, incidences, or whatever else. It multiplies per person that comes with you. So you always have to be understanding of that you may be fine going on a 3-4 day trip and not having an injury, not having an issue. You bring another person, that doubles the chances. You bring a third person, that triples it, if not even more exponentially, because of their interactions with other people, causing a distraction and or stress with them, making them cause mistakes. Causing them to make mistakes. So again, first aid, definitely. Now, food and cooking options. I brought some canned food with me, and I have my 2 cooking kits. Definitely didn't need all that, but it was just packed up, so I brought it with me. Plus, I just wanted the options to show you guys. How much food are you bringing? Are you bringing dehydrated food? Are you bringing cold food? Are you going to have to keep that food cold? These are all things that you should consider. Now, again, with cooking and your cooking options, whether you're doing you're bringing in a gas grill, you're bringing in a propane little camp grill, or the little tiny little mini hiking camp stoves, or if you're going to be cooking over an open fire. Now, open fire, and wood. Now, your supply, your processing, and your planning. Are you going to have wood accessible to you? Like I have piles and piles and piles of wood here, because this is a cleared spot where people have an ATV trail. Luckily, it's not too very active, so I do have some peace and quiet. But there's a ton of piles that I can just go over and start processing some wood from, which I have my camp hatchet and my breakdown saw. So I planned for having to be able to process wood because my supply is here. Are you going to have to haul in wood? Are you going to have to purchase wood? If you go to a campground, most of the time they have wood for sale. Now, entertainment for that unfortunate boredom of people who are just not satisfied with being out in the woods. Now, for everybody's sake, I always try to tell people to stay away from devices. Try not to have a phone be their source of entertainment. Try not to have a tablet or whatever. You're out in the woods. Be out in nature. It's what you're supposed to be doing. Cards, fishing. Do a scavenger hunt for collectibles, for foraging. Maybe not for edibles, but maybe just for, certain nuts, certain branches, certain bark. Different things like that. You can look up a bunch of different games to do. And also, if you have kids around, wood collection can be turned into a game. And it makes it a lot easier for you to be able to get firewood if you've got the tykes running around getting all your kindling for you and all the other stuff you don't have to worry about. It's a win-win situation. Keeps them from whining because they get to have the competition who can get the most or biggest sticks, depending on who you got with you. And you get wood collection. Now, big one, the bathroom. Doing the duty in the woods. Are you at a campground, or are they gonna have bathrooms available? Are there going to be the more primitive campgrounds where there's a porta shanty? Or are you gonna have to be like me most of the time, find a nice log that's nice and comfortable, dig a hole behind it, and leave yourself a nice pile of dirt to throw on top as you do your business? Bring toilet paper. Always wrap the toilet paper in a plastic bag. Bring extra, definitely, especially if you have multiple people, because, again, multiple people multiply stupidity. Higher chance of someone dropping and or having an incident with the roll of toilet paper. And above all else, with the bathroom, always make sure, especially, that you have a designated shovel for that business. Because sometimes people aren't very careful, they don't dig deep enough, and sometimes they end up scraping their left behinds with the shovel, and then you don't want that shovel next to camp until you clean it off in the dirt real nice and get some sand on there and scrape all that off. And above all else, especially if you are new to camping, you've never been camping, you don't have any survival skills, you don't have any outdoor skills, please accept that. Please accept that. Please accept that that is the stage that you are at, and that you need to learn. It is extremely dangerous to go out, even on a short hike, especially by yourself, with no skills or knowledge. There's plenty of YouTube videos. I'm going to be pumping them out. There's no reason why anybody can't at least have the theory of what you can put into practice, because even if you just have the theory and you know the method of what's supposed to happen to produce the result that you were looking for, you can eventually get to that point, even if it's through a bunch of trial and error in the dire need situation. But always do a practice test whenever you can. Go to somewhere local, somewhere, not off the beaten path, your backyard, a campground, a park, and just practice some of these skills. Practice setting up your stuff. There's nothing wrong with just practicing. Practice, 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 and practice makes perfect. So always try to learn, always try to practice, get yourself out there, get out into the woods. This was the fundamentals of camping, your basics to camping and the intro to camping, and what you should think about and check. Just some of the basics of what I thought to include. Until next time, get out there, enjoy the woods, be a native, and go beast.